something new. Lord, I know my blessing long overdue. Sometimes I'm feeling too good to be true. I got you, Lord, ain't no way I can lose. This is the season and new. Lord, I know my blessing long overdue. Sometimes I'm feeling too good.
This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is a preamble of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
June 21st, 2022, and the morning edition is alive. On today's show, residents enjoying the family islands. We're taking a closer look at a health issue affecting women. And it's the first day of summer, so let's start the morning off right.
The morning edition is brought to you by We Buy, You Sell Company, your leading hurricane impact windows, doors, and tile specialist.
Good morning, everybody. May this Tuesday bring joy and happiness in your life. And yes, I'm happy because I'm the single captain of this ship this morning. Ladon, like I said, is on vacation. So let's get right to our streets where Krista Darling is standing by with our morning traffic. Good morning, Chrissy.
Good morning, Fisher, and good morning, Bahamas. We're here on Bay Street where traffic is just starting to pick up just a little bit. It's still pretty clear, so if you're coming out here this morning, you better come out quick because the traffic is soon going to build up in this area as we head into that 8 o'clock hour. Now, this morning, I'm here with Officer Patrick Kemp. Good morning, Officer Kemp.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Crystal, and good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning, Kim. So could you talk to us about speeding in this area? We know that sometimes people may come around these blind turns with a little bit of speed. So could you tell us about being careful in this area?
Well, in the inner city, the speed limit here is 25 miles per hour. So I just want to encourage the drivers out there that when you're in this immediate area, to please adhere to the speed limit. We have a lot of big vehicles also that traverse this area. And especially with the curve in the area of the point, you want to be careful that you don't venture or veer off more into that lane and potentially cause an accident. So I want you to be careful in this area. And if you haven't left out as yet, you might find yourself in some traffic in the next, I'd say half an hour. So this tends to be a very busy area.
Okay, and also we've seen between last week and yesterday, we've seen a number of defective vehicles on the road. Could you talk about what is needed to make sure that your car is fully functional to be on the road?
But what is needed is responsible drivers. Places before you go inside your vehicles to make sure your vehicle is roadworthy. You know, yesterday when we was given the interview, we actually witnessed one of those defective vehicles. Someone was driving and their muffler was actually dragging in the street. I mean, that alone is annoying for you to be in your vehicle and to hear your vehicle making some sort of noise and you don't stop. At no point to check it, something got to be wrong with you. And this person had their whole muffler dragging in the street. That's a defective vehicle. That muffler can come loose and potentially cause an accident because a vehicle in the back can veer off trying to avoid that muffler, can potentially hit another vehicle. These vehicles that are smoking, and you got to get those vehicles checked. And these vehicles with those mud guards missing or mud guards hanging out, man, you got to get these things corrected. And let me tell you, no mud guard, especially during the rainy season, can cause your vehicle to be defective. I'll give you an example. Your mud guard goes missing, you're riding in a lot of water, the water goes up in the engine. One of the things that can affect is your compressor. And if your clutch isn't engaging, which means you don't have no AC. You don't have no AC, which means your windows fog up. When your windows fog up, you cannot see. So now you're driving and you're trying to clear the windshield or looking out the window while it's raining. That's a defective vehicle. So you can see how a small problem can turn into a big problem. So I would encourage you to get those vehicles sorted out.
And I like how you brought up the fact that you have some people staring out the windows and sometimes staring out the windows distracted. So there are a lot of people on the road who are also distracted in the morning. Could you talk to us about some ways that we can kind of focus more when we're on the road?
In the mornings, in the evenings, in the night, people are just not focused on the road. And one of the main distractions is the cell phone use. These persons are still utilizing their phones while they're driving. You know, you have a cell phone holder that you can use in your vehicle. And I commend the persons who are utilizing those. We have a lot of persons who are actually using the cell phone holders. I just want to encourage you to place those though in an area where it's not a blind spot to you. Because a lot of persons have those phones posted still directly in the front of them over their steering wheel. That's probably not a good place to have it because it can create a blind spot. And when you're exiting or entering onto the road, that can hinder you from seeing the oncoming traffic, and that potentially can cause an accident.
Another thing that we spoke about that can potentially cause an accident is loud music. There are some drivers on the street. They are playing their music really, really loud. Sometimes you cannot hear the emergency vehicle like an ambulance or a police car when it's coming up behind you. So how do you deal with that? What's your advice?
Turn your music down. I mean, you gotta be fair to the other road users. So Krista, I don't know if you've ever been in traffic and all of a sudden you got a lot of bass behind you. I'm talking shaking all the windows, shaking the rear mirror, the glass. Just rattling everything. And if the kids are sleeping, or if you have a child that's sleeping, obviously it's gonna wake that child up. If you have any kind of condition, you'll be surprised to know how that can affect you. I want to say to you drivers that be courteous. And at the same time, you don't want to disturb the peace, because your music should be played best for you and in your vehicle, not for the whole community. We're not interested in hearing what you are playing, and most times, truth be told, these people be playing a lot of stuff that's only foolishness anyway. So I'm going to say deposit some positiveness in yourself, man. Play something with sense, you know, and maybe that help you to go on throughout your day being in a positive mood instead of a rage mood because of what you're depositing in yourself.
But sometimes, Kemp, though, sometimes it's be the gospel music. You ever had a loud gospel music in the morning, like you driving past, and then someone has like a really just there, take me to the king.
Watch that now. Watch that. I tell you this, though. Yes, I stopped a lady last week, and she was all caught up in the spirit, and she's playing her music, and then went right through the red light. When I stopped her, and she was like, "Officer, I'm so sorry. I was in the moment. I was caught up." I said, "Yeah, I don't think the Holy Spirit will cause you to run the red light like that. No." So while you are in the spirit and acknowledging the good Lord above, at the same time, you're still called to be responsible. Be a responsible driver.
And sometimes people actually need that encouragement, though, Kemp, and people need a break. And sometimes people would just jump in their car and they would go on the road to just clear their mind. But is that a good thing?
So I did 2 accidents recently. Both of those females, they were in a situation where they had a lot going on. I don't want to get into their personal business, but I want to say to the drivers out there, we all have stuff that is going on, and I want to encourage you. You know, the scripture says, cast all your cares on him, for he cares for you. And sometimes you don't have anybody to talk to. Go for a short stroll. Pull on the side of the beach and communicate with the good Lord, or call that person who you can trust to get some good advice, but don't take your issue on the street, because you're going to make your problem somebody else's problem, and that's not fair. So I want to encourage you, man, to do the right thing and have a good day. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Officer Kemp. Back to you in the studio, Fisher.
Well, today marks the first day of summer, or the June solstice. Here in the northern hemisphere, the solstice occurs when the sun travels along its northmost part in the sky. This marks the start of summer here in the north half of the globe, and in the southern hemisphere it's the opposite. The June solstice marks the start of winter when the sun is at the lowest point in the sky. Summer ends on Thursday, September 22nd. And as we look ahead to weather today, we are waking up to 81 degrees, partly sunny, winds east at 8 miles per hour, humidity 73%. Now, a frontal trough is dissipating across the northwest Bahamas, while tropical moisture continues to stream across the islands of the central and southeast Bahamas. For all areas, weather partly cloudy to cloudy, hot and humid with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Your daytime high temperature, 91 degrees Fahrenheit, overnight low of 77. And as you can see from our tower cam out there overlooking the harbor, it's a beautiful morning so far. So go out there, exercise, and enjoy this beautiful weather. As we look ahead to the rest of the week, Wednesday and Thursday, expect some rain on Wednesday, a thunderstorm around in the afternoon, 86 in the day, 76 at night. And then on Thursday, those clouds are still in here with some sun, 86 in the day, 77 at night.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis among Commonwealth leaders attending the heads of government meeting in Rwanda this week. The leaders will reaffirm their common values and agree on actions and policies to improve the lives of citizens across the region. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honourable Mario Boleg, was the keynote speaker at the Commonwealth Youth Forum.
Our youth are integral and instrumental in our fight, and we must ensure their inclusion at every level of social, economic, and political life. My country recognizes this and has taken a deliberate approach to ensure millennials hold key positions in our administration.
Debate continues today in the upper chamber on the national budget. The budget bills seek to secure consent to raise money and, by the same token, spend money this upcoming financial year, which begins July 1st and ending on June 30th of 2023. Although proud of the government's accomplishments over the past 8 months, Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honourable Michael Halkitis, says tremendous challenges remain, and that includes global inflation.
We cannot stop global inflation, but we can take steps to lessen the impact and to support our people. Our steps might not be enough to completely reverse the impact of inflation, but we believe that during these times, every dollar counts. And collectively, these initiatives go a long way to providing much-needed support.
The country is seeing an increase in hospitalizations from COVID-19 in the face of a noticeable drop in infections. The June 19th dashboard showing some 21 new COVID infections, 13 here in New Providence, 6 in Inagua, and 1 in San Salvador, while the location of another case is still pending. 2 family islands have again recorded infections, while there is an uptick in hospitalizations, which stand at 31. 27 of the sick are being treated at the Princess Margaret Hospital. 75 people reportedly recovered from the virus on Sunday, while 101 RT-PCR tests were completed. Investigations underway into the discovery of an inmate who was found dead in a cell on Sunday. National Security Minister the Honorable Wayne Munro says they are awaiting the results of an autopsy report to determine the exact cause of his death, but at this point, foul play is not suspected. The countdown is on for environmental violators who have been given 2 weeks to clean up their act or face the consequences as the government moves to get a tighter grip on illegal deforestation and other serious infractions. Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Munro, says the buck stops here and the government is serious about resolving this problem once and for all.
14 days is the time we give people to voluntarily stop before you will see concerted efforts by law enforcement, and there will be consequences to people who have done it and who continue to do it. Clearing protected trees is illegal, even if it's on land that you own or lease. It is illegal. It is a crime.
Awesomely, this is a beautiful experience. I can't lie. This is my first time doing this sort of charity work, and I mean, it feels good to help out, you know. There's a can drive coming up, and other initiatives are part of the Giving a Helping Hand campaign, and I encourage anyone that's willing to lend their support in any way, shape, or form to come through and give up your time.
This is John Pinder, MP for Central and South Abaco. I want to reach out to all Abaconians and make sure that we are mindful of being prepared for this upcoming hurricane season, whether in terms of food resources, water resources, flashlights and batteries, and know where your safe spot is to go to in case of a major storm.
For hurricane coverage, there's only one network, the ZNS Network.
Well, Rich Ladon was here to deal with this next topic, menopause. We are joined by Coach Patrice Lockhart. But Patrice, you were telling me that men need to know, and we were having an interesting conversation before we get on set. First of all, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us, what is menopause?
Menopause is a natural transition in a woman's life. It is the time when she ceases from being able to reproduce. Now, menopause itself has 3 phases: perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. Perimenopause is that 8 to 10 year window before a woman actually stops having her periods. Now, during this time, first of all, as women, we come to this earth with, I always say, a basket of eggs. And during perimenopause, the 8 to 10 years before she actually stops, the woman is using the last of her eggs. And this normally happens at average age is 40. Now, when this begins to happen, her estrogen begins to do some seesawing, okay? And the estrogen hormone in a woman, first of all, it's our sexual hormone. And every month when we have a period, the estrogen plays a role in that egg being released. Then once the egg is released and there's a follicle, the progesterone is responsible for what we call it the pregnancy hormone. But between that 8 to 10 year period before she stops, she begins to have what's called menopausal symptoms. There are 35 symptoms that women deal with. And these symptoms are physical, can be physical, emotional, and mental. First of all, Charles, 99% of the women in this country go into menopause unaware, untooled, and unprepared to deal with the changes that they will experience. And I came here with my list because a lot of women, even though we have women who go through menopause and they sail through, we have a group of women who go through menopause. They experience the hot flashes and the night sweats, but it doesn't interrupt their lives. But statistics show that 25% of women have severe symptoms that interrupt their lives. And here's what our numbers look like. We have over 3,000 women that enter into menopause each year, and 25% of that 25% of that 3,000 is like 750 women each year deal with severe symptoms. And the symptoms can be from hot flashes and night sweats, fatigue, dizziness, low libido, mood swings, irritability, hair loss, weight gain, palpitations, bloating, headaches, tinnitus, which is the ringing in the ear.
So as a coach, how do you coach them along with these conditions?
Depending on what their conditions are. We have women who deal with the physical issues of menopause, the heart palpitations, like I had that issue, the sleeplessness. And for me, when I went into menopause, I had about a year when I was having issues sleeping. Then I went into 6 weeks of under an hour of sleep. And I always, and it was like the old black and white TV screens with all of the fuzzy lines, and then literally it would be like a scene comes across the television, and then it goes back to black and white. And because I wasn't sleeping, my brain wasn't producing the melatonin at that time. And after the 6 weeks, I went into day, the night of not a wink of sleep. I was wired. It was crazy for me.
Now I want to ask you this question because this is what we were discussing before we went on the show. We got some husbands in here, and women come home with these menopausal, whatever anyone say, out of mood, one day this, one day that. How does that affect the men, and how should we, because I believe I'm going through that right now, honestly. I've been going through that for 15 years.
First of all, it's all about understanding. One of the things science has shown is that menopause, actually, a lot of our symptoms begin in the brain, not in the ovaries. Estrogen has such a strategic impact on a woman's body. Estrogen is responsible for weight, metabolism, skin, bone, a lot of the functions of the body. And when the estrogen declines, and during the time, menopause is actually the opposite of puberty. A young girl, when she goes into puberty, her body's getting ready for reproduction. So she has the breast, etc. Menopause is her body shutting down, and the same hormones are being used. The estrogen hormone is responsible for so many of the brain function. And when a woman, for example, when a woman can't sleep, it's because the estrogen has declined and the stem of her brain is not getting the estrogen that it's been used to.
This weekend, have you here for hours? You have so much information. How can persons get in contact with you? Because I know a lot of women are watching and saying, hey, I did not realize I was going through menopause. Probably I'm going through that. I may need some coaching along the way.
They can, first of all, I have a menopausal survival care group on Facebook for women who want to be able to have more information, and it's a support group. And also I provide consultation and coaching. My contact is 439-3242. 439-3242. And I provide seminars for both males and females and in the workplace. And I help men understand that there's some stuff that when the neurotransmitters aren't getting the estrogen that it needs, the woman her mood swings change. She deals with a lot of the hot flashes, not because she's being disgusting, but the neurotransmitters that are usually getting the estrogen that it's been used to is no longer getting it. So there is a
and I know
change.
my male friends would agree with this. This is a woman issue, menopause. So, but why say men? Why didn't say menopause?
Menopause actually means change. It means change. It's literally, it means change of life, and that's what it is. And I disagree that menopause is a female thing. From the men, the conversations I have with men, it's both men, male and female, because it does affect the relationship, it does affect the workplace, it affects the home.
All right, thanks a lot, Patrice Locke. I hope you folks out there learned a lot about menopause this morning. And hopefully we can have you back here, because this seems to be a long discussion that we need to get out of the way.
Yes, I would love to be back. I'm all about educating.
All right, thank you a lot. Well, any seasoned scientist could tell you the climate is changing in many ways. Colder winters, hotter summers, and rising sea levels. But how are things being defined? Our Crystal Darling tells us.
Climate change, global warming, what's the difference? While the two are often used interchangeably, they are not the same.
Climate change is the big picture, and you have global warming and other impacts, which are very significant but separate effects. Some of them are linked, a lot of them are linked, but climate change is the overall mother term that we use for what's happening to our planet generally.
Outgoing Bahamas National Trust Executive Director Eric Carey adds that the scale of carbon pollution widely ranges from country to country. Question then is, where does the Bahamas fall on this list?
We have such a small carbon footprint as a nation. Like, people look at NASA and they say all these cars and all this development and Grand Bahama, but most of the rest of the Bahamas is fully vegetated. We have natural carbon sinks off the chain, because the majority of our country is undeveloped. The majority of our country has our forests intact. So we are not a net polluter.
Natural climate change may have occurred for most of Earth's history, but studies show that since the industrial boom in the 1800s, humans have heavily disturbed that natural balance. And although the Bahamas has a minuscule impact on climate change, the archipelagic chain is still at high risk of being affected.
We need to make sure that we do what we can to continue to minimize our carbon footprint, because if we're to be taken seriously and have credibility, despite the fact that we're still a small country, we can still be a really powerful voice, a more powerful voice, if we are demonstrating by our examples that we are taking climate change seriously.
Combating climate change is not a one-nation fight, but rather over 70 countries have pledged to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to as close as zero as possible to intercept its harshest impacts.
And as we head to the break, we take a look back at today in Bahamian history. On June 21st, 1978, the Bahamas Development Bank opened its doors. Also on this day in 1983, Dame Doris Johnson, a woman of many accomplishments, including the right for women to vote, passed away.
Commonwealth's highest consultative and policy-making gathering. And ZNS is taking you with us all the way to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kigali, Rwanda.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for the vodka.
Leaders from 54 Commonwealth countries will gather to highlight and achieve some of its biggest goals under the theme Delivering a Common Future, Connecting, Innovation, Transforming. Be sure to tune in from June 20th through the 25th on the Bahamas Tonight, beginning at 6:30 p.m. only on the ZNS Network.
Only one network.
This used to be the waiting terminal for the airport. It's now gone.
We have the most experienced team covering hurricane.
But when Hurricane Irma makes landfall here in New Providence in a few hours,
We cover the entire Bahamas before, during, and after the storm. One network covers every island rocking. We are the best because we have the best. For hurricane coverage, there's only one network, the ZNS Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bonami.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rajesh Pahawa.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jazreel Thompson.
Infectious diseases physician.
I'm radiologist at Doctors Hospital.
An anesthesiologist here at Doctors Hospital.
And I'm fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
I'm fully vaccinated against COVID.
I'm fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Are you?
Are you?
Are you?
Well, are you ready for some hoops action? The Urban Renewal Basketball Tournament that tips off this evening over there at the C.I. Gibson Gym. It's going to be exciting. And joining us in the studio this morning to talk about it is Wilton Russell and Kevin K.J. Johnson. Guys, good morning and thanks for getting up early with us.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us about what's the excitement that's in the air. I've been hearing about this tournament for quite some time. What can Bahamas expect?
First of all, I just want to thank the Minister, Lisa Ramig, for endorsing this initiative. The Chairman, Dean, and Assistant Chairman, Major. It's very important that our young men understand the importance of playing basketball instead of picking up guns and being violent in our community. So this initiative was talked about and they endorsed it. And I'm very, very happy that Urban ran with it and Minister Raming endorsed it 100%. This afternoon we get started. We have 4 divisions, not 4 divisions, but 4 districts. We have North, South, East, and West. And each district will have a champion, and then we'll have an overall champion when it comes to the Urban Renewal Basketball Tournament. On each district we have, in the North District, we have Nassau Village, Pinewood Garden, Centerville, Angliston, Baines and Grants, and Marathon. South District, we got Bamboo Town, South Beach, Mount Moriah, Fort Charlotte, Golden Gate, St. Barnabas. East, you have Yamacraw, Elizabeth, Fox Hill, St. Anne's, Freetown, Seabreeze. And West, we got Garden Hills, Southern Shores, Carmichael, Tall Pine, Golden Isles, and Galani. We're expecting an excited 5-week program with these communities. And the main important thing is we want our communities to understand we can live together, we can grow together. We don't want to be warring against each other, and that's the main important thing. And I'm so happy that Urban Renewal, in collaboration with our program, run with it, and we're happy that we're going to start this evening and we're going to get rocking and rolling.
Wilton, what can we expect?
Listen, I'm excited. I want to say again a special thank you to the Honorable Minister Lisa Raming for endorsing yet another fabulous and wonderful program. What can we expect? We can expect high intensity. There's a lot of competition between the various communities, and this age category, it caters to a lot of talent. As KJ would have mentioned, there are a lot of scouts who's going to be coming down to offer some scholarships. So players are going to be in for a treat. This is a 5-week tournament. It's going to be held at the C.I. Gibson Gymnasium today. Today, out the gate, we have the Honorable Lisa Raming. Her basketball team for Marathon is going to be taking on, of course, Nassau Village. Game 2, we're going to see Pinewood Gardens taking on Baintown. Centerville will take on Angliston at 7:30. And, of course, Yamacraw will take on Seabreeze in our final game for the day.
And this all wraps up on the 14th of July with the big championship, right?
Yes, it's going to be awesome that day. So we, of course, be asking people, the residents, to come on out to the gymnasium. It's going to be some clean fun. In addition to that, our chairman, Mr. Stephen Dean, is doing an awesome job over at the Urban Renewal Commission. We also asked the legends, okay? The Sterling Quants, the Floyd, off-the-wall Sanders, you know them are very well. The Von Dyke Taylors, the Preachers, of course, the Dexter Cambridge, to come on down to speak to the hearts of these young men. Mr. Fisher, you know that we have some issues with our young men, and through this basketball program, we intend to resolve a lot of these issues, a lot of these angers and frustrations and so forth. So this basketball program is not just about playing basketball, but also to meet our friends, meet the other basketball players, so that we can all understand, hey, we are all in this together. And that is the purpose behind this whole program itself.
Well, thanks a lot, KJ and Wilton, for joining us here on the morning edition. It all tips off tonight, 6 o'clock at the C.I. Gibson Gym. I definitely will be there to check out the action. I don't know who I'm pulling for. I live in the West, so I may be pulling for who that's Golden Gates, Golden Isles, or one of them. I know Bainstown, Grantstown is not in my list of top 10. But be sure to stay tuned into the ZNS Network for news as it happens, TV and radio updates throughout the day. And you can join the Northern Edition in the Bahamas tonight at 7 o'clock. I used to live in Baines and Grandstand, and they kicked me off the team. That's why I'm not pulling for them anymore. Enjoy your day, everybody.
You're watching the ZNS Network.